future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
We may never know their names, yet Jody McBrayer brings the brightest talent to the forefront. Right here on Backline with Jody McBrayer. Exclusively on UBN Radio TV.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Thank you so much for joining me for Backline. This is Jody McBrayer. Usually you see my ugly face talking. However, tonight we had some technical difficulties, obviously due to the Mercury retrograde. Right, Tony? Are you there?
I am there, and it is the last day, so that's where we're blaming it.
Well, of course, we had video up until like the last minute, and then we lost it. So you'll just have to look at my ugly picture, but nobody cares about me. Who we do care about, though, is my very, very special guest, and I have to say I am so honored and privileged to have Miss Susaye Greene on the show with me. Would you please give her a round of applause? Susaye Greene, a legend. There we go. There it is. I'm like, come on. We have to have it for you, my friend.
How lovely.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my honor. Now, you're in Los Angeles, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and I'm in New York City tonight.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's like 400 degrees here. Oh, you know, in the streets, it's hotter. But I'm so honored to have you here with me. Thank you so much. Just reading over your bio and realizing, you know, who you are. I mean, seriously. I mean, I had heard your name before, obviously, but when everything was sent over to me, and I've been kind of getting acclimated to who you were this past week, I'm just blown away. I'm blown away that you would take the time to be here, and I can't wait for people to hear your story and hear all that you've been blessed and able to accomplish in the short time that you've been on this earth. So let's don't waste any time.
All right.
Let's get started talking about it. So tell me a little bit about, if you don't mind, let's just sort of jump off at the beginning here. You know, there's so many things we're going to get to, but where did you grow up? Where did the music and all that seed get planted, and how did that start?
Well, it started with my mother and father, which, you know, is pretty logical.
Yeah, well, duh, yeah.
I know, huh? The fun part is that my real stomping grounds, my real home and home of the heart is where you are right now. I grew up in New York City. I grew up in St. Albans out in Long Island and went to school there, and still have lovely friends in New York, all over New York, that I speak to on Facebook and various places and on the phone, and we Skype, and, you know, it's our world, our modern world of technology, but
makes it very small.
helps us really all keep in touch.
It does, absolutely. So did you kind of, I mean, obviously you grew up here, so this is a very musical city. It's a very artistic city that had to cultivate a lot of that in you.
Sure. And I went to professional children's school.
Yes,
I
that's
also
right.
went to performing arts. I auditioned, and there were 1,000 young people auditioning every year. So, you know, when you finally get there and you go through the drama of, and I majored in drama, by the way, but you go through the drama of getting in to performing arts, you know that you're talented. You know, you do. You know, because you've proven it. And they've found who they think are the best ones for them to develop. And it's just a tremendous thing. It's a tremendous process. You're surrounded by not only other talented people, but tremendous teachers who give you one-on-one attention. And, you know, I think that was the basis of so much of my confidence. I really do.
Sure. Well, in the high school you went to, you know, everybody who's seen the TV show Fame or the movie Fame, that's the high school that you went to, is a high school for the performing arts here in New York City.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
That was
so
a good place to be. Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's obvious you paid attention because
well, you try. You do your best. You know.
Well, you know what's interesting
I
too.
think,
sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that kids who are in that kind of rarefied atmosphere, of intensive training, voice and diction, ballet, aside from whatever your major is, music, dance, or drama, you really dig in. It was Stanislavski method, and you are working toward your own goals. But it's a tremendous group of talented people.
Right, yeah.
And you bounce off of each other. You learn to give and to share. And really, you learn your craft. So the whole thing is to become great at what you do.
Absolutely.
Now, for me, singing always facilitated itself in my faith.
Sure.
So I went in that direction because I had always sung, and it was part of it. That was part of my overall dream.
Right.
Was to sing. Sure.
Well, I'm a singer too, and tell me if I'm wrong, if this is the way it is with you. But I know with me, I don't express myself better than when I'm singing. It's like when I get on the stage and I can sing a song, I don't know, my heart just opens up. And when I listen to you sing, it's very obvious that you've had that training, because it doesn't, great singers, to be honest, are a dime a dozen, and you are definitely a great singer, but there's something special about you that even transcends that. It's the heart that you bring into it, the passion that's behind the song that you're singing, and that's what makes the difference. That's the difference between good music and great music.
Well, thank you. I'm honored for you to say that. I'm all a blush.
Well,
but it's lovely to hear. I had great teachers. I did.
Yeah.
I had tremendous inspirations, and my wonderful mother was my coach throughout my life. And that close association, I think, more than any, inspired me in the direction of trying to really, I think, when you say that you understand that those moments on stage as a singer are so much your personality and your heart, your spirit. I know you get that.
Yeah.
And when a parent sees that in a child and helps to nurture that, lets that fly, because it's difficult. At first I did everything I was told. And then as you get older, you want to have, like a young horse. You want to have your head, to fly in your own way. And that's a difficult period. It was for us.
Sure.
But that's exactly the, should we say, age-appropriate thing to have happened. It proves that I was maturing into an artist that had the passion to go all the way with it.
Yes. Well, yeah. And I totally get that too. It's like I grew up singing church music. I grew up, singing. My father was a Baptist minister, and, he was a great guy. He wasn't like an Iron Fist Baptist minister or anything like that. But, I remember getting to the place where I'm like, I want my own voice. I want to be able to sing about the things that I'm passionate. Not that I'm not passionate about my faith, but there are a million other things too. And sometimes the church can be constricting in that sense. And so I totally understand what you're saying. Well, so you moved from New York. You didn't stay there.
Oh, we stayed until, my goodness, my career started very early. You see, after I got to New York, I would say probably 12 to 13 years old. But we had lived in Denver, Colorado. My parents were some of the first black DJs in America.
Oh, wow.
And they were coming out of Denver, Colorado. They had their own TV show eventually. And my mom just did tremendous things, putting together, because my sister had lupus. She put together a foundation for lupus and made it really an awareness in America. My sister was the sixth child in America to be diagnosed with lupus. And that puts a spin on your head as a little kid.
Sure.
For something that close to you to be so devastating, to affect, let's just say, to affect all of your family. And then, of course, she died when she was 12. But it has made such a difference. I believe very much in life, and I believe very much that our fate is the way that God wants it to be, And so I've learned, I had at a very young age such a tragic experience to go through in losing my sister.
Yeah.
But it took me from being the second child to being the oldest child. So it put a different spin on my sense of responsibility and caring and being aware of other people's suffering, that sort of thing.
Of course.
Things happen for a reason.
They do.
So,
But,
yeah.
do you feel like that loss poured into your music as well? I mean, you probably had, there had to be some inspiration there.
No doubt. No
yeah,
doubt.
absolutely.
I was always a very mature singer. I sounded at 12 and 13, I sounded pretty much like I sound now. I had the same quality of tone, and luckily for me, I still am very strong. And a lot of it had to do with the training and the dedication, and the striving to always reach your best. I was very, very blessed in that nurturing. I have a big dog here.
That's right.
Outside. I hope he's not too loud.
No, we're very dog friendly here. We love the animals for sure.
Well,
so.
That's good.
But this is your interview. You tell him it's your interview.
Okay.
So I want everybody to hear that voice. Before we go any further, I just want them, because a lot of people are like, oh, okay, I know her, I recognize the name, but I want people to put a voice with the name. So we've got some songs that they sent over to us. I have my personal favorites that I've listened to, but which one would you want us to listen to first? If you want to make a good first impression here, what would you choose? Like we've got Black and Blue, High Energy, Living in a Vacuum, Love Controls.
Sure. Love Controls You. Well, that's a good sort of I love all kinds of moods, and they pretty much cover
a
lot of my moods. But I would say probably Black and Blue.
All right. Well, we can play Black and Blue.
All right. It's just a snippet, but you'll see. It's good fun.
Yeah, they'll get the gist of it for sure once they hear it. But this is Susaye Greene singing Black and Blue. You guys are going to love this.
Timeless thoughts embrace my heart. Every time Susaye sings, timeless love surround us all. Every time she sings, ladies and gentlemen, Susaye.
Red, yellow, green, and these are the colors of my soul. Silver, pink, and chartreuse, black and blue.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I say this every show, but we have a saying on this show: when somebody sings like that, I'm going to throw my shoe. And that's unbelievable. I threw my shoe across the room. Oh my gosh. No, I have a jazz heart anyway. Like I was walking by a jazz club earlier tonight, and they were playing some music in there, and I just sort of gravitate to it anyway. And oh my gosh, your voice is just made for that. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
No, you're welcome. And I know I'm gushing a little bit, so please forgive me for that. But let's talk. There's so many things that we could talk about with you. I mean, just going over your bio, the people that you've worked with, the accomplishments, the things that you've done. It's almost like I don't know where to start. So I want to start with sort of not the obvious, because they all are, but you were the last official signed member of the Supremes. Is that not right?
That's right.
Okay, well, explain how that came about, because that's ginormous. I mean, that's so amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is kind of, but I try not to think about the enormity of it in musical history. But
it's hard not to. It's the Supremes.
Yeah, well, I'm a person who is very down to earth, and I live my life day to day.
Yes, you are.
I have real family and real things and issues and things just like other people, But I happen to be very blessed in that I was given the ability to fly creatively, and I know that's a blessing. I've always been able to fulfill that. And I believe from my heart, that other people, if you would follow that passion, your passion, it doesn't matter about money. Money will come from good hard work,
That is
so
good.
Follow that passion. You got to do that. That's what makes you happy. At any rate,
Absolutely.
you asked me something.
No,
Sure,
that was
thank
good.
you.
We could talk about that's a whole show right there, sister. I'm telling you, um,
Yeah,
I don't know how many times I've had that conversation with different people, and I'm sure you have
sure.
too, being in the arts and being with people who travel and are on the road or musicians, and you're constantly, they just want to give up because they haven't done this or they can't make enough money or whatever. And it's like, look, if this is who you're created to be, if it's who God created you to be, if you're a musician,
Mm,
you're not going to be happy doing anything else. So find a way to make
that's
it
right.
work, you know?
That's right.
Yeah,
I
I'm
believe
with.
that to my soul.
Yeah, well, it's obvious. Now, we were talking about the Supremes. Let's get back to
Yes.
that. And I know that you're so down to earth and you're so humble, and God bless you for that. But it is a big deal to those of us who, are sitting on the outside looking in. So just tell us about that story. Tell us a little bit about it.
All right. I was singing with Stevie Wonder at the time,
Yes,
and
which
we
we'll get
were
back to that.
yes, okay. We were moving along. We were a good team. Wonder Love, the entire.
Hello?
Uh-oh. Did we lose her?
Oh, I think we lost her. Oh no, it was getting so good. Well, hopefully she'll call back here in just a second, so we'll get her back.
So what do you think so far? Because I
Oh
guess
my gosh. Well, first of all, vocally, she is so unique. And I hope that people, when they listen to her music and listen to her sing, that they'll listen. Sometimes it's hard because it's new and the production is a little different, but she has vocal chops. And some of this stuff was just recorded. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like that was 20 years ago. And she's singing her tail off. So she is definitely the real deal for sure. Is she trying to call us back in, or I hope she's just not talking and
yeah, no, she actually we lost her, but so hopefully she'll call back in. Maybe her phone or something died because it sounded like a quick.
it was a quick
cut.
cut off. She's probably like, oh shoot.
But yeah,
Talking about her, her being with Stevie Wonder too, and we'll touch on that, but just the basic gist of it, she wrote songs for Stevie Wonder. She ended up singing duets with Stevie Wonder. They co-wrote songs together for Michael Jackson.
that's crazy.
She was a Supreme. I mean, you guys, this is as successful as it gets in the music industry,
And she's an Oscar winner.
Well, yeah, she's an Oscar winner and a Grammy winner as well. So, I think the only thing she hasn't won is a Tony or an Emmy. Then she could have the EGOT, right?
Right.
I wouldn't mind having an EGOT, but she's a brilliant woman. So I hope she calls back. I hope she realizes it and calls us back.
And she might still be talking.
Yeah, she would, because that's probably a long story. Oh, I hate that.
Right.
Well, anyway, why don't we play another song of hers while we're waiting?
Well, no, she wanted to play "Love Controls You," so let's go ahead and play that one.
I,
And then
I love that one too. That was one of the ones I kept gravitating towards. So this is "Love Controls You," and this is Susaye Greene.
All right, be right back.
Somebody's watching, somebody's hiding. Love grows and who knows who loves anybody. Love called by one name is still the same game. You can't control love, but love controls you. Did you believe in love at first sight? You walked up to me late last night. Did you plan what you would say? In your head, did it come out like you planned what you said? Just don't think you fooled anybody standing alone in the shadows. I could feel you there, looking at me, looking for love in my somebody's hiding. Love knows and who knows who loves anybody. Love all by one name. It's still the same game. You can't control love. Love controls you. Did you believe I would be in your arms when you walked up to me with your charms? Did you know I'd go with you anywhere? Long as we go as one, I don't care. You sure took your sweet time about you, standing around in the darkness. Hey, I could feel your spirit searching, looking for love in my eyes. Somebody's watching, somebody's hiding, Lord knows and who knows who loves anybody. But all by one name, it's still the same game. You can't control love controls you. When love precedes you, your heart runs into love, trouble coming at you hard. You kept love hiding so deep inside. You don't see nothing coming at you till it's too late, too late, too late, too late. Love called by one name, it's still the same game. You can't control love, the love controls you. Love's out there hiding, you know love is always watching over you. Anybody, love called by one name, it's still the same game. You can't control love, the love controls you. Love's out there watching, love's out there hiding. Love knows who loves anybody.
Yeah, there it is. That's what we call belly rubbing music right there.
That's what it is.
So she hasn't called us back, huh?
So I tried to call her, couldn't get back in hold of her. It went right to voicemail, so it sounds like her phone may have
Yeah,
died.
and you
So-
know when it dies, you have to plug it in, and it takes a few minutes. So
So we'll have to do some what they call stretch.
that's okay. I'm fine. I can stretch all day long. But okay, so we can talk more about her, but I don't want to talk about her. And
Till she's
if she
back.
comes, yeah.
And I'm sure she will.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious. Can you say anything about why you're in New York? Are you singing there? Are you singing?
Well, I am singing this weekend. Yes, I'm
Okay.
singing this weekend at a church here just outside of New York City, called Life Church.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I'm excited about doing that. But I'm here for for one other reason in particular.
Oh,
And
she's
I
calling
can't.
back. I think we got her back on.
Oh, good. It's a way better show when she's here.
All right, there she is.
Hello?
Susaye's back.
Oh, thank goodness.
How long have I been talking to myself?
Well, we said that. We're like, I guarantee you her phone died, and she doesn't even know it. She's just talking. I'm so sorry.
So it's not. Who knows what happened there? Once again, there's our Mercury retrograde or something.
It is. It needs to go away. Okay, well,
Well,
let's
where
jump.
were we?
Well, girl, we were trying to talk about the Supremes. I feel like every time we start talking about the Supremes, something happens. So should we move on? Let's talk about Stevie Wonder first, then, since that's where you were before. Because
Okay.
Stevie Wonder,
I just start laughing. Wait a
I know
minute.
it.
Believe me, it was really good what I was saying.
I bet it was. Well, Tony and I were like, I guarantee you, she is just preaching, and we're missing it. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
I was
Well-
gone. I was gone. I was into it. Well, let's start. Let's start with Steve, and then I'll tell you how I got to the Supremes.
Okay.
My
Well, and I have
mom, I
to
don't
say,
know.
let me tell you this really quick. Songs in the Key of Life. I mean, that
Yes.
record, I think, for a lot of musicians, was instrumental in creating some serious soul and musicality in some people. But even for me, I mean, that music, that changed my life. That record. I mean, it was amazing. It still is. I mean, I have it on vinyl,
Yeah.
and I have it CD, and I've got it digitally. I mean, it's constant.
Sure.
And you were on it.
Well, I think a lot of us feel that way. You know, that was such an enormous accomplishment, just
Yes.
the volume of great songs.
Yes.
But at that time, I was following Steve around. He went all over the world, literally.
Yeah.
And I was following him around with a tape recorder at that time. because he's just so prolific. You know, he'd write a song at the drop of a hat, literally.
Wow.
And I was in Wonderlove during that whole time that he was putting songs in the key of life, which is how I got to sing Joy Inside My Tears with him. But wow, you know, there's really nothing. I can't think. I mean, I've met so many wonderful musicians.
Sure.
And Quincy Jones and Ray Charles. I traveled with Ray Charles for years. And I just think, though, that being around Stevie Wonder is just one of the most exciting things for any artist or music lover, just for the pure volume of exciting sounds. And,
Right.
you know, it's a hotbed of music. I don't know any other way to put it. It was a tremendous experience. We worked 6 days a week. We rehearsed 6 days a week for
Wow.
Wonderlove. You had to know his entire catalog.
Wow.
Because he would do something at the drop of a hat, and you had to know.
Oh, I gotcha.
And consequently, now we had Michael Cimbello on guitar, who did from Flashdance.
Yeah.
Maniac,
Oh, yeah.
Maniac. That was Michael. Michael
very
was
familiar.
like 19 at the time. You know, what a band. What an amazing band.
Oh,
that was my band.
Yeah, it was.
They were tremendous. You know, they were. They truly were, and they still are. We are, at this time, we're discussing the recordings that we did independently as a group. When I say independently, I mean from Steve.
Sure.
We put a lot of the songs and rehearsals and things down that we did from that time. And we're trying to decide what to do with them now, to release them.
Please
they're
do.
just tremendous.
Please do. Oh,
we
my
could play
gosh.
any kind of music. Those guys, anything. We did jazz. We did Brazilian music, we do rock and roll, you know, and all of Steve's songs as well, all the various genres that he would delve into. You know, it was absolutely just a place to grow. And that's what we did. We all grew as musicians. And all friends today. How about that?
Well, yeah, and not only that, I mean, you cultivated a strong writing relationship with him too. I mean, you guys, you sung songs together, which recorded songs together, but you wrote, you know,
Yeah.
I Can't Help It off of the Off the
Yeah.
Wall sound, the Off the Wall record, Michael Jackson, which I was trying to remember because obviously I had Off the Wall, and I was like, okay, how does that song go again? And so Tony played the beginning of it for me. I'm like, yep, I know it. I love that song, you know. So I mean, what a tremendous lineage and what a tremendous opportunity that must have been for you. And you know, he's a pretty private person. You don't hear a lot about Stevie Wonder behind the scenes.
Sure.
But is he as, you know, musical? Like you know, you just want to think, oh my gosh, he probably just walks around all day long singing and writing songs. Is that really how he is?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't know if there is a name for the special place.
Yeah.
But let's just call it that. The special place is where most writers can go to write a song, depending upon how open you are to, you know, just letting it fall when you're inspired. But everyone, because, you know, a lot of people do other things, so they can't just take the time out. They might put down an idea, like on your phone, you put down a little idea that you get or whatever, but you don't have time to just dig in and write that song.
Right,
well,
right.
Because of the rarefied air of his existence, you know, the world revolving around Stevie Wonder in his world, he's basically paying us to work and be on call 24/7. So if he got the groove at 5:52 a.m., then he would call you and say, come on.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
You know, who is this? You know who this is. Who else would be bold enough to call you at 5:50 in the morning and start writing something? What is the rest of the words to this, you know? And he'd play it, and we had still do have a very wonderful writing relationship. We can write on the phone. We can write, you know, be 10,000 miles apart. It's just a vibe. It's a vibe that you relax and go back and forth. That's all, you know, that's all it comes out. I say it comes out of the universe
Absolutely.
He tends to write in sounds, in sort of guttural vocal sounds, and but he'll be singing the melody with no lyrics.
Right.
And for some reason, I can tell what he's saying. So I say, looking
Oh
in
my
my
gosh.
mirror, it took me by surprise. I can't help but see you. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
Sure.
but you guys have cultivated that kind of relationship. So now, I mean, you probably do know what he's thinking, and that's, and those are the best people to write with. I mean, I'm not a songwriter by trade. I wish I were better at it, but most of the songs that I've written, nobody's ever heard, thank God. But I do know that the moments that I have written, it was always easier with somebody who I was comfortable with and somebody that I was relaxed
Yes,
with. And
exactly.
and so that's why you guys work so well, obviously, and have been so successful. Well, let's segue then, because how did the Supremes come out of you being with Stevie Wonder? How did that opportunity happen?
Because my mother was on the Beverly Hills branch of the NAACP,
Okay.
on their executive board, along with Bob Jones, who was the head of publicity at Motown at the time. And
Gotcha.
Bob was told that Cindy was going to leave, and that would I be interested in going in, and not just going in, but writing for the group and putting my spin on it, developing my personality into the group. Pedro Ferrar, who was Mary Wilson's husband and the manager of the group at the time, hired me. They were out of town, and when they got back, I went and met with Mary, and basically, I was at Wonderlove rehearsal, and Pedro came and picked me up to find out if I was interested, and he pulled up in this big, long, white limousine that's like half a block long with black windows, a Mercedes limousine that had belonged to George Harrison from the Beatles.
Oh, wow.
So you couldn't see who's in this car, and all of Wonderlove piles out of the rehearsal studio, and we're looking to see all of us, and I was a little extra dressed up that day.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Everybody's like, "Where are you going?" I have an appointment. Somebody's going to pick me up, and then here comes this big long limousine, and I climbed in, and off we went into the wild blue yonder. And Steve I tried to warn him, that I was very interested in taking this job. He was unhappy with me for a while, but he understands. He's my friend,
Sure.
And real friends understand. So I moved along.
Eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But,
So how long did you do that then? How long were you with them?
With Steve?
No, with the Supremes.
Oh, with the Supremes? Oh, my goodness. I guess from 1974, really only until, we left the road in I'm really not sure. We left the road, I think, at the end of 1975 to regroup, and when Mary decided to leave, because we did our last show in London, and we selected Joyce Vincent Wilson, who had been in Tony Orlando and Dawn, to go ahead with Sherry and I. But that was at the very end. We didn't actually split, I guess, until it must have been 79, because we put Partners out. Sherry and I did an album called Partners that we are celebrating still, because it was released just recently from Japan, Universal Japan.
Right.
Sound lobbied for it for years. It was the first time it has ever been on CD. Sherry and I produced it along with the tremendous Gene McDaniels, who had worked with Roberta Flack and Bonnie Hathaway and a lot of actors, had his own successful career with his 100 Pounds of Play, and a long time ago. But we wrote all the songs, and we produced it, and did the basic arrangements and called in big arrangers and just did this fabulous album, Partners Sharing the Same. So, you can go right on over to Amazon.com and find it right now. And many other places, But we traveled around the world as the Supreme. And I'm always honored. I will always be honored to have been a part of that legacy of music and hopefully class and wonderful high-level entertainment. We had a ball. We had our difficulties. Everybody does. But we had a ball. And when the lights come up and the curtain comes up, we would hit it, We would hit it. It was just a fantastic time in my life. When you look back, very often things happen and you don't understand why they happen the way that they do. But in retrospect, I can only be honored to have been involved.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. I can't relate at all on the level that you have been, but I was part of a group for 12 years too. And, being part of a group is difficult. Anytime you put people together, especially artistic people, there are artistic differences that take place. But in the same respect, you're absolutely right. That hour and a half or 2 hours that you spent on stage, those were some of the best times of my life, and it's like you put them aside and you get out there and you do the job that you're supposed to do. You do what you're gifted and called to do, and magic happens, and it's stunning. And to say that you've been a part of a legendary group like the Supremes, I mean, it's not just a feather in your cap, it's the freaking cap, for Pete's sake. I mean, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, it's pretty thrilling, And hey, I'm still here, this long. I'm still doing what is my passion and what is thrilling to me. All of the associations of the people. I mean, my God, to have worked with both Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles. There's a level of trust. This is the thing that I wanted to say. There's a level of trust when you are talented and you're professional and you do your job and people can depend on you. There's a tremendous level of trust. So even from 19 years old, when I was singing with Ray, that level of trust was there. That when he would turn and say, he would, for instance, he'd play My Funny Valentine, and he's playing, and you look over there and you're going, oh my God, that's Ray Charles playing the piano for me. but you still step up and do your thing, because he trusts that you are enough of a professional or to sing with the band. There's an 18-piece band. What an honor, talking about the tremendous musicianship that I've been exposed to. Tremendous. What a blessing. These guys are some of the great musicians ever, great jazz players and musicians aside from that who can play any kind of music. That for me has been and continues to be the most thrilling thing. I still work with some of the most amazingly talented musicians, and they are a foundation for you, They let you feel comfortable enough that what's going on in the background that are your cues, that they're there for you. It's just a joy that someone who has never done it really can't appreciate to what extent that part is, but it's a respect thing. You respect their talent and they respect yours, that you'll be there for each other. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. Let me just tell you right quick, we just did, speaking of Stevie Wonder, I just did, Spike Lee has.
Yep, I was going to ask you about that.
Yes. Now that, this is what I'm saying. You could plan your whole life. They say that's how you really make God laugh, though, is when you tell him your plans. But then things just fall into your lap like that. They called me out of the blue and said that Spike is doing the DVDs for a documentary for Off the Wall for that album. Well, oh my God, my heart just skipped. Because you see, when Michael passed, a million people have come at me since then, people who said, we loved Michael and he changed our life and affected our life, and we want you to know that I Can't Help It touched our lives. and affected our lives. That it was a song that I listened to for solace, or it was a song that always calmed me down, or it was a song that got me dancing and in my head, or my first child was born because of that song. It affects people's lives. That's what music does. But to see all of these fantastic artists who came, and I can't give hardly any spoilers away because it's going to come out, and I know Spike would really be upset if I told you the things that went on, but I just say be excited. That's all I can say is be excited, be very excited. It's tremendous.
Of course, getting to work with Spike Lee too, but I mean, it makes perfect sense why you would be a part of that. I mean, so much a part of you with Stevie Wonder, and then writing the song. Can we hear at least, Tony, do we have the song?
Yeah, we could play a little bit of it.
Because I love this song. So you co-wrote this song with Stevie Wonder, is that correct?
Sure.
Okay.
Did.
And yeah, I love this song. So let's play a little of I Can't Help It from Michael Jackson's Off the Wall record. People will remember this the minute that they hear it. And it takes me back, sister. I love it.
Yeah.
So just let's listen to a little bit of it. So here we go.
All right.
Surprise, I can't help but see you running often through my mind, helpless like a baby, since your disguise, I can't help but love you, it's getting better all the time.
I totally get it now. People are like, yeah, I had my first baby to this song. I totally get it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I love it. That is just...
Well, it's fun.
Woo, amazing. Well, okay, so there's a couple of other things I wanted to ask you about. This whole show, my whole show, Backline, was inspired by the documentary 20 Feet from Stardom. And
really?
Yeah, I sat at home. Tony had approached me about hosting a show, and I had said, yeah, I'd be interested. I have no clue. I mean, obviously, I want it to be music-based, but I don't know what to talk about. And then I have a lot of friends in Los Angeles who are session and studio singers, musical arrangers, composers, things like that. And then I was sitting at home one day sick. I was actually sick with the flu, and I was upstairs watching, Netflix, and it was on Netflix at the time. And I knew that it had won a lot of awards, and all of my friends are like, have you seen this documentary? Have you seen this documentary? I'm like, no, I haven't yet. I really need to see it. And so I put it on, and I was moved. I mean, it was so well done. Obviously, an Academy Award-winning documentary, Grammy Award-winning, music, and you were a part of that. Tell us a little bit about that and what that was like.
Well, it was real surprising once again for that to happen the way that it did. A lot of times when people come to you with something, it doesn't necessarily sound plausible, or not plausible, but possible.
Sure.
And yet I'm an optimist, so I always an open door to creative ideas, But when they called me, I couldn't quite put my head around it. I said, I see a documentary about background singers. Okay. It sounded, okay, but you'd tell me more. And it was really describing the hope factor. You can always get me there because I am such an optimist. I realized that the effect that 20 Feet had on people around the world was because we all are part of, just a foundation for others. in so many ways in our lives.
Yeah.
No one person can get there without this background singing thing.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
It's a euphemism for other things, for other genres of, other things that people do, but it touches us all. There always is a group of people that are supportive there, that help move it forward and make it really sing, whatever it is, even if it's not about singing. So I went with an open mind, as I said, and once we did my interview, because my interview was longer than the film.
Right.
It really
Yeah.
was about 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
I figured because, well, yeah, I could see that.
Sure. I mean, there was loads. There always is. I was only in it for 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
but I'm so glad to have been included, because 20 Feet was the sort of human story, the human behind the scenes
Yes.
part of show business, of recording.
Yes.
And I think it's important that people understand that there are real people behind those oohs and ahs.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. And
Yeah,
that's what inspired
yeah.
me to do this. I just, there are, well, you are obviously, I don't know that you could be, it's sort of ironic that you only were in it for 5 minutes, because you are so much more than a backup singer. But, but I know singers and musicians that have sung backup and sung session work for years. I mean, that's been their career of
Yes.
choice, and they love it. But they sing circles around some of the lead singers. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for that documentary, in the sense, because it did kind of help people realize, oh my gosh, there's a whole foundation of music here that we didn't even realize was going on. You see the person in the spotlight, but it's like it takes a cast of thousands behind the scenes to even make that person in the spotlight shine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, it does. Gil Friesen, who was the executive producer of 20 Feet, who passed before it came out, before it had its tremendous success. Gil was the reason that I was so inspired to do 20 Feet. He was such a tremendous gentleman who had been the president of A&R, not of A&R, the president of A&M Records. And discovered just tremendous artists, Janet Jackson, so many people.
Sure.
He put out there and helped to create their careers for them. It was through talking with him that I really found shall we say, the heart of it. I had known before, when we did Ray Charles, when we did his documentary, Ray Charles America, I had dealt with the other people involved, but Gil was a person who walked up to me, and I didn't know who he was when I was there to do my interview, and he just began talking to me and drew me out, because he was such a charismatic figure. He was the kind of person that you can meet and you don't know who they are, but that person is someone very important.
Right.
He just had that magic about him.
Sure.
And he said, I've done everything. I'm no longer in the record end of the business, but I have such respect for these people, these men and these women who sang the backgrounds, which very often were the real nut of the song.
Oh, absolutely.
Very
yeah.
often. Sure. And then you consider, I went through so many sessions. I sang in a lot of sessions. I was, Mary Clayton contracted a lot of sessions in L.A., and she would call me. I had a strong top and a really great ear, and you have to be fast.
Yep.
You go in, and very often a producer doesn't know what he wants his backgrounds to be, and they ask you, well, what do you think?
Yep.
And that's the part of it that a lot of ladies, like I remember Clyde King and her group, I think they were just did such a fabulous career. Make $150,000 a year, stay at home. Singing backgrounds.
Yeah.
So it might not be as, I don't know if it is a lucrative a profession as it used to be. I should imagine, there's still plenty of people who need background singers. But in the recording end, a lot of people, do their own backgrounds or sample things and stuff. That's what has changed a lot. But you still need that soulful background that swings that hook back in back into place and propelled you forward in your song. So I'm grateful. The thing about Gil as well, after it was all over and we did this tremendous interview, was a few days later I received a note from him in the mail. And I thought, oh my gosh, classy guy. When do people write you anymore and just to say thank you that way? Everybody would drop you an email or whatever, but he wrote me a handwritten note. And it just was such an example of the type of dashing fellow and gentleman that he was.
Well, that speaks a lot to his success too. I mean, people who take the time to do that. It goes back to what you said. You gotta work hard, and you gotta do what it takes to get it done, and he did, and it's brilliant. You know what I hate, Susaye? You know what I hate more than anything is that we are out of time, and it makes me so angry because I could talk to you for hours. Seriously, I mean,
we can keep going.
I know. I would love. Will you please come back sometime when I'm in Los Angeles? Would you come in and let's talk some more live, and maybe we could sing a little bit for everybody? I would love that so much.
We'll do that. I promise.
Now you're working on. I want to say this really quick before you go. You're in the process of working on a new record. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. I'm almost ready to release.
Okay.
Several artists, including myself, on my record company. So I'm very excited. I've been going quite a while now, putting this together. They are many genres, so they're separate projects, but I'm very excited.
Well, is there some place where the people can go? Is there a website where they could go and check that out? Or is there
sure. You guys, you can find me on Facebook all the time, and Susaye Greene. And you can also find me at Susaye, Susaye, on Twitter. I'm on Google Plus. I'm all over. You always just Google me, and it'll take you to find me. I'm not kidding. I'm a pretty good web presence.
Well,
okay.
Let me tell you something. You are a delight, and I just thank you so much. Everybody doesn't know this, but we had to juggle schedules around, and it was mostly my fault to get you on here. I am so thankful that you came, and what a talent, and what a spirit and a light that you are. Thank you so much for being here, Susaye.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Take care.
You too. Susaye Greene, everybody. What an honor. Thank you again so much. We're going over time here, and I'm so sorry, Tony, but thanks you guys for joining me for Backline tonight. Gosh, I could have talked to her forever. She's amazing.
She is amazing, and you did a great job, Jody.
Oh, well, thanks. It's nice when your producer pats you on the back. Anyway, join me next week. I've got something really special planned for next week, you guys. So join me next week, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you then on Backline. God bless you. Good night.